I can name places. Aachen. We visited, stopped at many Kriegsgefangenenlager, prisoner of war camps. Prisoner camps, Jews, Gypsies, and just people that the Nazis didn't like. Different types of camps. Not only one. You never knew what kind you were fighting for, toward, whatever. There was one I'll never forget. We stopped at one, and because I spoke a few words in Yiddish, I was able to talk to the commander, and he asked if we would give him until 12 o'clock. He would give up his Kriegsgefangenenkamp, the camp, without shooting. It was about a half an hour. My commander at the time says, "Tell him it's okay." We gave him that time that he requested. And during that time, I'll never forget as long as I live. I knew if you've ever been in combat and the Germans had a machine gun against you, you've never forgot the sound of the German machine gun, completely different from ours. Pop, 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 pop. They lined up the Russian prisoners that were living, lined them up in a courtyard and killed them outright, murdered them pointlessly, and then they surrendered. I don't want to go any further than this story, but it's a true story. Being Jewish, I was especially hit when I got to a camp that was all Jewish. And those pictures are not lies. I saw them in life, stark. See the legs on that camera? That's what it was like. People starved to death deliberately and then worked to make sure that they died. It was an unbelievable time. Somewhere I got pictures, I don't know where now. Unfortunately, when my wife died, my daughter, who had no interest whatever in the Army, allowed all of my, and I had a wonderful history of pictures. Everything was deep-sixed. Left me with nothing. The one thing I had left is what I showed you.
The discharge card.
By the way, I did leave out a portion of something. Within a week of discharge from the United States Army, I joined up the Army of the United States. And I joined, again, for 4 years. In the mounted infantry. I didn't have to walk it. They were mounted. And we had 6-wheeled vehicles to ride around on. Can you imagine? Here I walked from the northern part of Europe and stopped at all the towns, all the big ones. There was Cologne. I was there when we were shooting the hell out of the Jerry's the day after the bomb the place. They left the cathedral stand, but they still had a lot of Jerry's in it. We still had to go in and clean them out.
Do you remember where you were on VE Day?
Yes, I had to dig deep. I was in Camp Gruber, Oklahoma. You know what the hell was I doing in Oklahoma? I was wounded while I was in service.
Oh, well, let's back up to that, to when you got wounded, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. Yeah, I was wounded. And in July, early in July, they shipped my entire company over to the United States for what they called a delay in route. They gave us all 30 days time to have fun before they would put us back into action. And they did. I wasn't ready yet. I still had some recovering to do. And they shipped my company over to the Philippines. I and a couple other guys who were in the hospital were left behind. And then the war ended. And they were Japanese.
Where did you get in? Where were you injured?
It's the 15th of April. I don't remember. Funny, all my records are gone. I'll never forget when the commanding officer came in to put combat infantry badges on us. They had Purple Hearts. And we laid in the hospital. Just like in a movie. Yeah.
So can you tell us what you like best about being in the Army? And then
What did I like best?
what you like worst? So,
About the Army? I learned to love the Army. From hating it because I had to join it. The Navy didn't want me. The Army didn't care if I couldn't see red, green. But I learned to love the Army too. It becomes part of your being. And to this very day, I love the Army.
so did you stay friends with any of your buddies from the war?
Only in the beginning. We were buddies for a while, but they had family, and I had family. You go your separate way in time. There'll be individual people here and there that will have maintained a particular friendship. But my answer to that would be, I was not one of them.
Well, you did mention reunions. So did you go to reunions later on?
For a number of years, every year I went to a reunion. Our 86 Black Hawks, that was our shoulder patch, a Black Hawk. And we had our 86 reunion every year in a different location in the United States, year after year after year.
Do they still have reunions?
That ended, I think the 50th, I think, is the last. Too many of us passed.
So which army was that? Is that First Army?
No, sir. No. That was Third Army.
Third Army.
That was the Third Army. But I was in about 3 or 4 different armies during that transition period. From I think it was Haag, H-E-H, up in the northern part of Germany, where we started out just below the Netherlands. remember up there was the Schwarzer Wall, the dark wood black forest, where that's where we learned that it wasn't the bullets that'll kill you. It was the wood, the trees that exploded. They were the horrible part. Artillery incoming, and everybody would hit the dirt so fast because they would hit the trees, and you'd have shrapnel and pieces of wood, metal, all over the place. And then you start hearing people calling for medic. Yeah.
So after the war, you re-upped and did another 4 years?
After the war, I did 4 more years. And if you ask me what outfit, all I can remember was mechanized infantry. I received a discharge from them. I received a discharge from my first tour. Thank the good Lord, I maintained one record, or else I'll sign like talking through an empty megaphone.
So were you married at this time, or you got married later?
Oh, I didn't have any sense at this time.
So you were married?
No, I did not marry. I married at a ripe old age of about 21 or 22. And I remained married for 65 years until up here in Marlton, about almost 2 years ago, when my wife took ill and passed on. And that's when my daughter sold my car, sold my house, and lost all my records.
You can request your service records through the National Archives, and if you'd like assistance with that, we can help you out with that. So you can get your entire service record. I've just checked online.
Wow, I'm unaware of that. That'd be great.
Yeah, I'll get back in touch with you after this interview, maybe next week, and I can help you get that done.
When you find the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to help.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
It was the most interesting time of my life when I look back. Would I do it over again knowledgeably? No. No. What I learned during this period of time was the resiliency of the American body and spirit and mind. How wonderful God has created us as people. That we went through that which we did go through. So much of it pointless, but we did it. I mean, if we did it mindlessly, we did the best that we knew how at the time. You missed out on service, but as you admitted before, you sort of liked it. You wish you could have been there. We guys who were there used to say to men like you really don't know what you're wishing for. But you do. You do. What about men like this lady? They have feelings too. Men left them and said, goodbye, sweetie. And 3 years later or 4 years later, or never, came home to them or their children, to a country they didn't even know. They only saw it in movies. If it wasn't for John Wayne, we wouldn't know what the hell was going on. So we were a lucky generation. If you look back on it, you were lucky also, because you were able to view with clearer eyes than could son who was there, who saw and liked or hated what they saw. Did I like anything about the Army? Yes. They knew what they were doing, believe it or not, even though I was bitching all the time. They knew. It's like today, even in politics today, I did not vote for Donald Trump. However, he's an important part of our history. And you guys will first learn that, you know, when you get old like me, and the new group of historians come in, then you find out, hey, maybe there's something that this guy's had that everybody missed. We won't know. But the beauty part of history is that we have the intelligence to wait and find out. But more than that, to record so we can teach oncoming generations of what this is all about. We all need that. I think I've just about told you much. If there's any questions you have, and if I am able to answer them, I shall.
I don't really have any questions other than if there's anything else you want to leave for posterity, any other ideas? You pretty much summed up what you did in the war.
Could you state your name for the record on this film for me, just your first and last name?
And rank.
And rank. That would be great. We were supposed to do that in the beginning, so I just want to make sure I have it on here.
The highest rank I ever reached was commander, and that's took place when I was a commander of my own flotilla while I was working in the Navy with the look at the card, I'll tell you what I did.
Coast Guard.
Coast Guard. Otherwise, in service, the highest rank I ever received, I was a corporal in the Army when all the shooting took place over in Europe. I reached the rank of corporal, and from then I had different acting ranks, which don't count. The reason you had an acting rank is because the guy ahead of you, got shot. And he wasn't there, so he took his place. I started out as a runner, running messages for the officers. And that was a lot of fun because the enemy always tried to run. Knock down the runner, people out there standing up. But I was lucky.
So Ed, state your name too, just so we have it on the...
Oh, yes. My first name is Ed, short for Edwin. My last name is Greenfield. Full name, Edwin S. Greenfield. Hometown, Metuchen, New Jersey.
And do you remember where you were? Where you were in Germany when you found out the German war ended? Do you remember that day? Were you in Germany when the German war ended? When
the German war ended.
Were you in Germany at that point, or were you?
I was in.
Or were you
we
in?
got all the way to the bottom. I'll tell you in a minute. The next country south of Germany.
Austria.
Austria. The Österreich. The Austria. Yes. I was in Austria the day the war actually ended. In fact, I was up to Hitler's retreat at Berchtesgaden, and I got copies off his desk of beautiful writing paper with Der Fuhrer's name on it. That was quite something, and I kept that for years, but that too went the way of good things. Austria. That was fun. The war ended.
Ed, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for your service. And thank you for
thanks
doing
for
this
being with
interview.
us here today. It's great.
Thank the library.
I will thank the library as well. And I I will look into requesting veterans records, and I'll give you a handout. If I might have everything I need to request them. I can request them on your behalf. Maybe they'll just mail them to you. But I think I have everything I need on this sheet because it's got most of the information that they're going to want. So I'll get back in touch with you about that probably next week. Okay?
Merci beaucoup.
You're very welcome.
Picked up a little of that while I was